entities, media, right?
Dude, are they coming
Be-
after you?
you heard the cops?
Gosh.
I don't know how, but they
You're
found
speaking.
me.
They
I'll
found
be
you.
back.
Welcome to Expired Optimism, where real conversations meet real people. I'm here today with Jeremy K Simien, Louisiana historian, art dealer, art collector. Just it could go on.
So my name is Jeremy K Simien. I'm a Louisiana-based art and antique collector, sometimes historian, sometimes purveyor of strange and interesting objects, podcaster, former musician. I do a lot of stuff, but I only do like 3 or 4 things really well. So hopefully that's all we'll talk about on the show today.
Oh yeah. It'll be all we talk about. What got you into all this? All like just the antique and art
Stuff. Yeah, so I've always been curious. I've always liked old things. I don't know why. I've kind of always felt like maybe like I was around before, something crazy like that, maybe. And I became interested in Louisiana history, mainly because it's such a weird place. I mean, you're here, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like every corner of certain parts, especially New Orleans, is haunted, and I became interested in kind of figuring out why that was. And I think I learned that its history is what makes it such a weird, but yet unique and cool place. So that
Yeah,
got
and
me
it's
into the old stuff.
especially with Louisiana. Obviously, I've lived here my whole life except for a few years. I lived in Houston, but I do like I'm one of those people that like anything north of I-10, specifically Opelousas, Mamou, is not considered Louisiana. I consider that like South Arkansas, and I know a lot of people from up north will say otherwise. But I do believe that certain parts of Louisiana have its own culture and its own history, and when you travel to other parts, it's like, you may see one side of like Louisiana that you'll never see like in another side. And I just feel like Louisiana is such a melting pot when it comes to just culture, food, music, and obviously history. Stuff that happened up in Monroe, Shreveport, is far different culture than South in New Orleans.
It's a different state, man. I mean, they say it's Louisiana. I've found very little evidence of that. It feels different. It just feels different. Moving around there feels different, you know?
Oh yeah, and everyone who lives in each part of Louisiana like is very like this is my area. Like
Yeah.
if you say like, oh, I live like this city, if I live in this city and you say, oh, well, like New Orleans. Like if you live in New Orleans and you say, no, are you from Kenner? Aren't you from Metairie? It's like, no, I'm from New Orleans. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way
so
my wife's like that too. They're very specific. Even in little pockets, they're like, nah, dude, I'm from that pocket. You
exactly.
know?
Like especially like in the Lafayette area. Like I always say just Lafayette because it's just the Acadiana parish. It's just so it's but like no, I'm from Crowley. No, I'm from
Yeah.
Mamou.
Yeah.
I'm from but anyways, was that always the plan? Is just to get into art dealing, or did it just fall in your lap? Because I know you've always been like an oddity collector, like just a novelty collector. But like I mean, was this a
Bro,
plan? Like,
none of this has been part of the plan. None of this has been part of the plan. It's like, it's kind of like life. You walk, and then you run into something. And some people get up and they keep walking. Man, I just fell into this after I ran into it. It's just kind of like I have always had kind of like an addictive personality. I'm just not gonna like lie about it. When I was into old keyboards, I was into old keyboards. I mean, I wanted to go everywhere and look for funky 1980s keyboards or 70s keyboards. Talking about Lafayette, I'd go to every pawn shop in and around the area looking for funky keyboards. So whatever I've been into, I've really gotten into. But I think in the past, like things I loved didn't always love me back. This one, for whatever reason, I was able to get some love back or enjoy some success in finding things and sharing things. So it kind of stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like when did this become go from just an interest, just a hobby into like this is what you do? Because there's not many people that like this is somewhat, like of like an actual career or job. Like a lot of people do this like on the side as like a pet project, as a hobby, but like this is what you do. So like what turned it in from just an interest hobby to like an actual like a job, and like do you still find it as a hobby? Because like once something turns from a hobby to a job, you kind of loses the interest of what you're into in the first place.
I mean, dude, it's kind of a job now, right? That doesn't mean I don't like it or there's not moments I don't love it, but it's a job. I mean, I wake up every day and the first thing I do is sling open the computer and I began to do what I do, whether it's looking through auction catalogs, whether it's answering emails, whether it's making sure I post on social media. Yeah, because sometimes you have to push yourself to be like, dude, it's time to post some more, man. That's the whole point of this. It's time to share. It's time to create. So that's a job now, and I would say that started to happen probably a little before COVID, but during COVID, I had to buckle down and be like, dude, what the hell? You need to figure it out, man. Is this what you're doing? Are you going to do something else? Are you going to disappear into a cabin in the woods? But I had a kid during COVID, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm into. This is what I'm going to be doing. And luckily, I found some important objects, and I've been able to place those and make a career off of sharing this.
Yeah, I believe in that field. If you're like really going to get into it and like make a career out of it, like you have to like jump into the deep end, and actually it's a grind every day because it's not like a 9 to 5 job where you just clock in and clock out, and then once it's all said and done, you go home and you watch something on fucking Netflix. I can only imagine like having to constantly have your eye out there to find some kind of rare item um, that you can just get your hands on. And I know that the expenses when it comes to like doing what you do, it's just a lot, and like a lot of people don't realize that, and that's why like I was asking, how to just become an interest hobby to a career, because it's just for someone to take that step, you have to take that leap of faith. But I want to ask one last thing. I already know about it, but the audience
Sure.
probably isn't aware. But you acquired a pretty rare painting recently. What I'm guessing, 3, 4 years ago. I'm just trying to think of
Probably
when I read the
five.
articles.
So yeah, I acquired it about 5 years ago, but it really kind of busted on the scene, if you will, a couple years ago. So do you want me to talk about the painting?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So there was this painting that I found that kind of put me on the world stage, if you will. And it was a painting where there were four children. It was painted in 1830s Louisiana, and there were four children, but one of them had been covered over. And later on, it had been uncovered, and it was a little black boy, and nobody knew what the hell was going on. I found the painting interesting. I'd seen it on the internet years ago, sold at auction, and I'd always wanted to find it. Bizarre chain of events led to me finding it almost 10 years later, acquiring it, and decoding and figuring out who all the people were, and then hooking up with the New York Times. And the painting became such a big deal because of what it represented, which was kind of like a recovery of history, a sharing a broader sense of history, talking about Louisiana. Arguably, it's probably one of the most important Louisiana paintings, right? So the New York Times came down, recorded a documentary. It's had in the last 2 years or so 5 million views, but of course that's just on YouTube. It's been shared so many times on different platforms, and it was also on 1A. That's the cover of the New York Times. That ain't page 3. That's 1A. And that was an amazing experience. And the painting I ended up placing the painting with the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And so, that's a little museum in New York.
No, yeah, just a little museum.
Yeah.
What made you like? What led you to having the Met acquire that painting? Because I'm only assuming that you must have had so many offers for that painting.
It was a weird thing I did. Things just started. It was before the New York Times. By the New York Times documentary, the Met had already acquired it, but it had already gotten a lot of press even before that. It was on the cover of a bunch of magazines, antique magazines. It was in newspapers. It was on the BBC News. From what I understand, it was even on in the Filipino newspaper. I had a woman contact me from an airplane, and she was going to Malaysia, and she had just read this story. So essentially, there was a buzz around this, right? And I did have a lot of people reach out to me, and I kind of just isolated. And eventually, I trusted somebody, a broker, to handle that for me. I needed somebody to, kind of navigate like a real estate agent, right? You have this property, and you need a real estate agent sometimes to list it, but list it the right way. It has to be ethical, has to go to the right place. So that's how that happened. And the Met is the best place, I think, for that. I've
Oh
visited it a
yeah,
couple times. So
yeah. Believe with that kind of painting, put it in the hands of someone that can expose the history of it to an audience instead of someone acquiring it and having it
privately.
as their own keepsake, and no one knows about the history of just pretty much eliminating a boy that was
Right.
raised on a plantation. And I believe, you know, there's certain parts of the antebellum period, certain parts of slavery that people like just try to ignore. People want to see just the good of just this country in general. But I believe that, you have to learn from the bad parts of our history so we don't repeat. And I believe that painting is representation of what people fail to do, and what people actually do, with erasing history. And you did a really good job, just bringing that painting to light, and actually bringing the little boy in the picture, in the painting, and actually presenting that to an audience that would have never seen it if it was in the hands of just someone who's going to put it in their collection.
Right. And that's kind of what I loved about the whole thing is that it wasn't a private collection. And and then it was in my private collection. And for the now it's in the right place. I mean, literally millions of people, I think 3 or 4 million people will have the opportunity to go see that painting every year. And the painting is called Belisaire and the Frey Children. Belisaire is the black boy who was enslaved by the Frey family in New Orleans. And for those of y'all who are local, next time you go to the Monteleone bar, which has that carousel bar in the French Quarter,
Hmm.
that's actually the location of the original house. So have a good drink at the Monteleone for Belisaire and for Louisiana history.
So this goes to my next point. Like, I really wanted to talk about written and documented history because I believe, especially over the past 5, 6, maybe 8 years, a lot of history, not necessarily Louisiana history, but just American history in general, is starting to somewhat get pushed aside. And I just want to talk about like the importance of like having that written, documented, uh, just history of just our human existence, and how you know spoken history, AI can distort what actually happened. And I just want to get your perspective of like the direction of history in like the past like 5, 6 years, and if you've seen some kind of change in the way we've been learning history, not necessarily me and you, but like just the way it's being taught in certain schools, and you know just the way people look at the past.
Dude, the struggle for narratives, no matter what we're talking about history, we're talking about music, movies, or the current news. It's always been a thing. Everybody wants control over the narrative. what the reality of the narrative is, I think that's up to all of us to try to kind of sift through and figure it out. Having physical pieces of evidence are is very important. We don't always have that, but when you do, you have to recognize that it doesn't necessarily a record doesn't necessarily mean this is how it happened, this and that, but it is evidence of one perspective. And it's really important that we kind of hold on to this, if you will, and I'll segue, physical entities, media, right?
Dude, are they coming
Be-
after you?
you heard the cops?
Gosh.
I don't know how, but they
You're
found me.
speaking. They found
I'll be
you.
back.
That's awesome.
That's absurd. There's no way they would have found me.
They're silencing you. They're silencing you right there.
It's the censor police. I
You're
knew they
speaking
were
the
coming.
truth.
Yeah, the truth is this, man. Every day we got to fight and look for authentic narratives, right? And I think physical evidence, things you can touch, tangible things are still important, like physical media, things that are more difficult to be altered, distorted, or manipulated are important. And yeah,
Yeah, because right now, like it's so hard to tell what's real and what's not. AI has gained so much popularity, and in the content creating world, I use AI, I use ChatGPT as a tool, but I know some people will take advantage of it and will use it as art, will use it as music, will use it as just, video. And you'll see people putting out stuff on the internet and it's like completely false. And then you have some conspiracy theorists that will see the video, run with it, and then the original core of like what the video or audio was actually about is distorted, and it's just a ton of misinformation. And I believe that we live in such a digital world where AI can somewhat ruin history, but if used correctly, can help us learn more from the past.
it's the weirdest thing, man. It's like humans seem to just constantly fall into these traps, right? I mean, the phone that we're using, the technology we're using right now, we can contact virtually anybody in the world, share ideas. At any moment, we could go viral. This video could go viral and just change our lives and those around us. And everybody has something important in their pocket, pretty much a phone that can do that. But they keep sharing dick and fart jokes and weird memes. It's
Yeah,
just like, it doesn't fucking matter. You have this power. I mean, idiots are going to be idiots, you know? And I hate to say that it doesn't matter if you use this social media as just fun that you're an idiot. I'm just trying to say there's always going to be people misusing, not even abusing, just misusing technology, not realizing its potential and what it can do. AI
yeah,
is an amazing tool, but holy fuck. It has us questioning everything. Everything we see now, we're like, ooh, is that AI? And everything you see now too is kind of like also the real versus the fake. The real sometimes doesn't shine as much as the fake, right? So we're
yeah,
also getting like fatigue from like the AI is so like intense, supersonic shit
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, like
God,
I do believe there is a big AI fatigue. Like, even when I'm doing content and I'm just needing help with a script, and I ask ChatGPT to like, hey, I need a 3 to 4 sentence segment for just this one thing I'm talking about, and what it gives me, I'm like, I would never fucking say that, and I always take what they give me, rewrite it, and, you know, some people are so reliant on just technology that they've become completely dumbed down to where they just start believing everything they hear. And when, they hear stories that you tell on your Instagram and your TikTok, it just seems like what you're talking about, with, you know, Creole, indigenous slavery history, antebellum era, just, African American history. It's like that sounds so fucking bizarre, and because no one knows what's real and what's fake, you know. And I do believe that AI plays a big part in that.
Well, it's hard to find an authentic voice, but then deeper than that, like, does an authentic voice matter anymore when you're oversaturated? I mean, it's like, dude, it's like a fucking buffet versus a fucking appetizer. I mean, people bring you a buffet and they give you these infinite options. You're obviously going to go there and be a total glutton, but sometimes a little small bite leads to an eventual feast. But that's not what we're doing. We're just gorging on this fucking mess. And it's hard to figure. It's not hard. I mean, I want to stop saying it's hard because it sounds like I'm defeated. But one of the reasons why I wanted to start a podcast, why I wanted to start talking more person to person, is that's something we're losing. The person to person shit. I think that's why these are so important.
And I believe, like, you know, I'll be that guy that will say that COVID fucked up civilization when it comes to just interacting with other people. I know that, like, working from home has its benefits, but I do believe that working from home also detaches you from other humans. And you'll go to a fucking restaurant and with somebody, and while you're with that person, they're holding their phone. You're looking around you. Everybody's holding their phone. No one's fucking talking to each other. And in the political climate that we live in, you have this side that doesn't want to talk to this side. And if you're in the middle, then these people right here think that you're too far that way. And these people are here think you're too far that way. And everyone just stops talking to people altogether. And when you start doing that, then no one's really learning from anybody. And I always say, like, if you only interact with people who have your same views, your same opinions, then you're pretty much just talking to a mirror. And you know, that's why I like what you're doing with your podcast. It's a real conversation, and like, I could be more professional with this podcast that I'm starting, and I'll get a lot of things wrong with it. But you know what I want to do with this podcast is I just want to talk to people. I want to talk to people that I don't normally talk to every day. So with that being said, you know, tell me about, I already know about it, but like the people that are watching, tell me about your podcast, Static and Dust.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like what you were just talking about, man. It's like, it's hard. There's so much static in the line, right? So that's kind of, let's talk about the name, Static and Dust. There's so much static in the line. It's hard to communicate now. We have this vast, sharp piece of science, you know, or the sharp piece of science that we keep in our pocket or wherever you keep your phone. And yet the reception and transmission has never been more static and whatever the term, lo-fi, even though we have this ability. I should rephrase that. So though we have all of these amazing ways of communicating now, the signal is still not clear. It's filled with more static today than I believe it has been in the last 50 years or 100 years. So that's part of the name, Static and Dust. The other part is, in the end, we're just left with dust. I mean, that's it. That's what we become. But the flip side of that is kind of like a double entendre. If you look at static, the energy that we're using, everything's electric, can remain. So in the end, it's static and dust. So it's hopeful, but also pessimistic. And that's kind of what the podcast is about, man. And it's not just me talking about paintings. I really don't talk too much about paintings. Sure, they'll get brought up because that's what I'm into. But we're talking people shit to people.
Yeah, y'all hit some like dark things, and like, I don't even think y'all broken into the core yet. I think, obviously, I put out, I think, 4 episodes by now, probably 5 or 6
by next week. Yeah,
by the time this is released. But like, you know, what I think that a lot of people nowadays do is, there's a sense of fear of like saying certain things. I think people want to censor them on, you know, themselves. And I believe like what y'all are doing is y'all are just ripping off the mask and just going at it. And I know especially with your line of work, you know, there's probably some limitations of how you may feel of what you want to talk about. But I believe that y'all are doing a great job with just, this is real fucking shit. And it's a real fucking conversation.
There's landmines everywhere now, man. You got to be careful what you say. Got to be careful what you think. They might be listening.
Oh, they are listening.
Even with our internal, it's like, be careful what you think. Um, the fact is this, yeah, I like that pulling the band-aid off. The fact of the matter is this, at the end of the day, you get like maybe 80 years if you're lucky, maybe 90, I don't know. But if do you want to live as a person, or you want to just be a scared little bitch? I'm tired of being a scared little bitch. I'm tired of being tired with this current climate. And I think the way can break through it is, one, use AI to fight AI. Use this to fight artificial intelligence. It may win in the end, but I'm gonna drop kick some fucking robots ass for a minute. Okay.
So while we're talking about Static and Dust, and obviously, for those watching this, you can find Static and Dust on YouTube, Spotify,
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. It's there. Just Static and Dust. Like, I search it, it pops up. But for those of you who have not seen the podcast, which is still fairly new, tell my audience about some of the stuff that y'all have talked about, but not in detail, just so they get an idea of like exactly what y'all have, got going on.
So it always kind of just starts as a conversation. Sometimes we'll have an outline, but a lot of times we let that subconscious go, right? So my co-host is Dave. Okay, his name is Paul David Harbour, not the actor, but the musician, and he's a touring.
Yeah. By the way, I googled his name, and I'm like, that's not him.
That's the dude from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
different dude. No, this guy, Dave, is a former heavy metal bass player. I mean, he's toured all over the world. I mean, with some major bands too. You can check him out. And now he's doing film. So he's a film composer. He's really like a brilliant pianist, really great piano player, but he can also just do some major shredding on bass. You hear that on guitar. He can do some shredding on bass.
I searched him on YouTube because you told me about him being a musician, and I found this one video. It's got to be four or 5 minutes long of him just fucking going at it on the bass, and I'm like, and that was obviously in his long hair day.
Yeah.
But like, I know he said like he collects drum sets. Like, dude has drum sets. Like,
dude, the dude's kind of like me. Like, when we get into stuff, we get into it. Like, we buy and we grab, and we're like these hoarders like, with it. Yeah, he's got them.
Drum sets are like bulky items. Like, when you have like,
doesn't matter. His house looks like fucking Guitar Center. It doesn't matter. Dave does what he wants, man.
It's like
mine looks like a haunted mansion. His looks like Guitar Center. It's crazy.
It's like being a guitar collector. You could all put it in cases. You could put it like on racks, but like fucking drums. Like you get like 2 or 3
stacks
sets.
Them. Yeah, but he does stack them. But I think he has a couple set up.
But
and 2 grand pianos too, Tony.
Fucking
there's
2
these like fucking yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Like, not like one of those like wall pianos. Like, you're talking about like just the big piano with the.
Nah, fuck that. It's like, hey, we want to make a concert. We want to perform right now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Going back with the digital era that we live in, I know like these have been around for like the longest time, but like whenever you're going through like a museum or like an airport or a mall, and they'll have like the grand piano with the automatically playing.
Yeah, disc clavier.
Like, I don't get the same fucking feel as someone who's like, improvising shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's kind of like with music or even a conversation versus a film, a movie. There's going to be that pause. There's going to be that misstep where you mispronounce something, and I think it's also a rhythm, right? It's different. You listen different. You interpret different by this kind of natural or real shit versus this synthesized shit, which can also sound pretty awesome because I like electronic music,
Now to get a little off subject, but still on subject with the podcast. I know y'all's routine when it comes to recording episodes. But
What do you
I
mean?
just
Whatever are you talking about?
it's what we may not talk about.
Uh,
But so
we just we like you're talking about. Oh yeah, we like good drinks. We like to go
oh
somewhere
yeah.
high end and then start low end when we hit record. Yeah,
So
but anyway,
so
yeah,
so I'm recording all these episodes, and some of these episodes are not going to be in the order that they're going to be released
yeah,
in. So like I'm always like, dude, if I have someone who's available right now, like right now to fucking
yeah.
record, I have to take advantage of it. So I did an episode and I was impatient as fuck, and I probably should have had a little bit more patience, but you know, I'm very ADD, I'm very like impulsive, and you know, my friend Skip, who actually does the theme song of this podcast, texted me late one night and he's like, "Hey, you want to record that episode with me for your podcast?" And I didn't have anything going on. I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this." And then like I'm like, "Fuck, I just ate a double bacon loaded cheeseburger with a huge
What?
order of like cheese fries. I've drank 4 beers. I'm like feeling so fucking bloated." And I'm like,
You're like, let's turn on the cameras.
I can't fucking sit down. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm like, I can't eat. I don't want to eat or drink or anything. But y'all, the routine that y'all have planned out, and the odd characters that present themselves in the pre-show um at the restaurant.
Dude,
I,
it's like a source of inspiration, right?
I've been with y'all twice,
Yep.
and I've been with y'all pre-show just to talk about the show, and it's like what happens is the outside world, or outside of our bubble at the restaurant,
Yeah.
brings in content like the waiter that
With that guy. Yeah, yeah, he was fascinating. And the bartenders. You gotta have listen, pretty women, pretty people. If you're a girl, you like pretty guys or whatever you're into, you know, pretty people are muses. And the best way to get inspiration is be surrounded by intellectuals or pretty whatever the fucks, right?
and see this is what happens when you put your phone down and you actually have real fucking conversations. It'll make you more observant to just the
Yeah.
world and your surroundings. And that last time I was with y'all, like the air was pretty potent. Um, it had a very very strong stench in that back corner that someone had to spray
Oh,
to
yeah,
cover up.
not us,
No,
but the
no,
the,
God
the
no.
place. I was like, wait, Tony, what are you saying?
We're,
Yeah,
we're,
no,
we're at a we're at a high end restaurant in Baton
yeah,
Rouge, Louisiana,
yeah. We like
and
those
all of a sudden,
$30 cocktails.
and it's like a strong stench of fucking weed just in the back corner.
Some motherfucker looked like Predator came rolling in, and we're like, "What in the fuck?" That was hilarious. But that's you know what? That's kind of what's cool, right? He came there, bringing his world in a place, observing other people's worlds, and
Hmm.
some kind of way they go. It's
Yeah,
this weird
like
fusion.
me, I'm a big people watcher. Like, I just watch. I know that sounds like a fucking creep, but like even when I'm at the gym and I'm on like the treadmill, I always want to be like on the very back row so I can just observe.
Yeah.
But like the
This
last
is why
time
I
I was
like
at the
coffee shops. This is why I like
yeah,
coffee shops.
dude,
But
let me
yeah,
tell you what. Like last time I was at the gym, I was on the fucking treadmill, and I just like being in my own just world. I got my fucking headphones on, and dude, I'm talking about like rows of empty treadmills in front of me. Like I had maybe one other person like 8 treadmills down from me, but like it's like the space around me, and this motherfucker comes up and comes like on the treadmill right next to me, puts that bitch on like 8 speed, and like Usain Bolt sprinting right fucking next to me, and I'm like, I can't fucking handle this. Like my anxiety isn't built for that kind of stuff.
I mean, if we would open our eyes, put the phone down, we'll figure out that reality is stranger than fucking fiction. The world
It's
around us is still fascinating, and in some ways crazier than anything we can create
yeah, like
because it's
you know,
there. It's real. It's nature.
Yeah, so like I know not everyone has seen the documentary, and I'm not here to talk about the documentary. I'm just talking about the existence. It's like, you know, I knew Earth was old, but I didn't realize it was 4.5 billion years old. And how we always talk about like the prehistoric era. And it's like, why do we call that prehistoric? Isn't that historic? Like, I don't know why we say prehistoric. But the fact that humans have only existed for like 300,000 years, which is just like a fucking drop in the bucket of like all of Earth's history, and how in our short amount of time that we've existed on this planet, like, we've started increasingly become just dumb. Like, I just feel like people of the past were like more gifted, more talented, just more intellectual. I just feel like, dude, we had people a couple years ago setting themselves on fucking fire to get clicks and clicks on fucking YouTube. Like, people eating Tide Pods.
Right, dude. I don't know if I think our energy, our productivity, uh, has suffered, right? And I don't want to believe people have become stupider, because if you look at everything they have access to now, there's no reason why they would be stupider. I mean, we've seen more, we're exposed to more. This is where I'm being optimistic, and I'm not an optimist. Expired optimism.
Oh, wow.
Um, message, message. Uh, I'm going to try to be optimistic. I'm going to try to,
Nice plug.
well, I'm trying. I'm going to try to rejuvenate that. I think we're just relying and focused on the wrong shit. We just got to turn on the right satellite again and receive. And that satellite might be organic. It's not necessarily analog or digital. It's just, I mean, it's organic. We just need to listen, and then we need to respond from that. Even as you were talking, unfortunately, I grabbed my phone because I had a little ding, and
Oh
I
yeah.
looked at it, and then I put it back down. I'm like, motherfucker, what are you doing? You're here. So,
Yeah,
gotta
and
be
it's like,
here.
and I feel like we have so much information overload. I believe that just the, you know, just facts and just like just history is so saturated right now, like especially on the internet. You can just type in whatever the fuck in Google, and it'll bring up 100
Right.
pages of what you want to look into, and it's almost like I don't know what's real and what's not. And I do believe a lot of people will start getting burnt out on just the amount of just what's out there, that they just say, fuck it, I'm just going to believe in what I believe in. There's a bunch of like Holocaust deniers. They got a bunch of slavery deniers, and people just, I don't even like, not me necessarily, but like, there's people that like, I just don't want to fucking go out there and try to learn about this one part of our history, you know. So I'm just gonna hear what my buddy said, and I'm just gonna take it at face value.
Dude, it's what I agree with you, largely that the internet is a weird mirror. You put in something and you can quickly get validated, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the curse of it. So if you want to deny some, not believe it, it'll oblige. It's like a fucked up genie. It's like, you're right. It's like, well, I don't think this is it. It's right. It's like, because we can selectively filter, it plays into our psyche, where we get used to looking for validation on the internet. And if we don't want to believe something, we can convince ourselves of that. And if we do want to believe something, we can also do that. I think the best way to do it, I think that's what we're talking about, is maintain that human contact, and talk to people you wouldn't normally talk to, who have different
Yeah,
experiences,
yeah,
and
and I do
feel.
believe a lot, and I do believe a lot of people will say some of the most outrageous stuffs because we live in a very clickbait society right now, to where they'll have something pop in their head and like I don't give a fuck if it's real or not. I'm just gonna throw it out there. You'll have a huge part of the population that will get outraged with it. You got a huge population that will agree with it, and then you got a huge population that would be like, I'm listening what to this person is saying it, and not knowing that this person is saying something obviously false, but I'm going to hear them and I'm just going to roll with it. That is the truth.
There's like, and sorry, I'm getting messages. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm on a
No,
podcast.
no. You're good. You're good.
Uh, dude, that I, I agree. I agree. I think we all just kind of, and I'm kind of folding back on this because I'm thinking about this. I think we all kind of have to take the mask off. Like, kind of what you're saying is people will say anything they want to and not think of that you're essentially accountable. They might not know who you are, what you look like, where you live. But I do believe in energy, and the shit you put out there has a way of either coming back or hovering right here, right? So even your little mundane responses you put out on a YouTube video where you're talking shit about whatever, somebody's kid, somebody's hair, the way their fucking dimple looks in the wrong light, that's real. It might be in this kind of abstract version of the world on a screen, but what you're putting out there still counts as energy, man. And we all need to be just conscious of our karma, not to sound like, Dalai Lama, cue up the Ravi Shankar music, sitar, whatever. But we have to be conscious of what we're putting out there. We have to be responsible about that. And if we would take that approach and start treating each other a little nicer, maybe things would get a little better. And maybe they're all going to hell too, because my optimism is really kind of expired.
Oh, yeah. Like, I am not the most optimistic person. I'm a, I'm a professional pessimist, and I'll wear that on my sleeve. Like people know about it, and I don't fucking hide that shit, you know. But I believe that we should be optimistic about the future, and hope for the best, pray for the worst. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask one last thing. And I don't know if it's still something that you're looking into, but what's up with this Victorian style coffin that you're looking at? Is it still like in the works, like that you're
Well,
looking
I'll
at?
tell you what's up with it. It's 250 pounds and it's in fucking Montana, and I'm in Louisiana. What's up with it is the logistics are crushing me. Um, it's not a matter of should we get this thing because I think it's interesting. I think it kind of falls in line with Static and Dust. Do we actually? Yeah, we discussed this on the podcast. Obviously, you're talking about the Victorian casket I'm after. I want to acquire it. I want to buy it. And some people may find that weird, but during the Victorian era, there was this kind of concept called memento mori, and it means remember death. So they would sometimes surround themselves with these objects that would remind them of their end. So sometimes it would be a little skeleton pin or, a skull and crossbones on a ring, or even in the library, plaster image of a skull. A lot of it was just reminders of death. You had high mortality. You could pretty much die from, a fucking splinter back then. You did, if you got
Oh yeah.
so, it's kind of ironic that here's this chariot for the dead, if you will, something meant to hold a body in the Victorian era made of cast iron, which again is kind of like, it's ironic because it's like man's attempt to combat even at defeat. It's like, dude, person's dead. They don't need a cast iron casket. Just drop them
No.
in there. It's gone. But I kind of love that because it's Victorian tech, but it's also for me a modern day memento mori. No matter what, in the end, it's going to be dust. Maybe some energy, some static left over. I want that shit. I have
Well,
plans on getting it.
let me. And I saw the picture of it, and it's like the I never question anything that you collect because like if you tell me you're looking into something, I'm like, yeah, yeah, that sounds like something you'd go after. The average person would not be going after a 1870 cast iron 40-inch casket, which seems like it's not for an adult. It seems like it's a child's casket. And it's like,
look, man, we talked about this on the podcast. I think it was just a salesman's, example. That's why it weighs 250 pounds. It'd been really easy to go door to door at different funeral homes across the country with a wagon.
It's just odd. But if you do acquire it, would that be the oddest thing you've ever collected?
Oh, unfortunately not. I can't even put them in I can't even Rolodex right now and figure out what would be the weirdest thing. I mean, if you look in the podcast studio alone, we got weird shit in there already. I won't even get into all of it. But everything from a closed circuit sign, closed circuit surveillance camera sign from Waffle House, to weird Victorian objects, to 19th century paintings in there. I mean, we have weird tech. What else do we have there? We have a bunch of weird shit in there, man. There's all kinds of weird stuff in that room. We're trying to get to the bottom. We have a mantle piece that's 150 years old. We have a Rolls Royce bar in there. Okay, we may have a shrunken head, whether it's real or not. I prefer not to say, but I do like authenticity. Is where I'll leave it at.
Yeah, and like I've known you for nearly 25 years, and you've always been the type of person that, like, it doesn't matter whenever I've seen you. Every time I've interacted with you in person, you've always been like, "Hey, check out this weird fucking thing. I saw it on eBay. I saw it on eBay at 3:00 in the morning. And I just had to fucking buy it."
I know, man. I don't want to be that person, but that's who I am, man. And now it's worse that I'm an adult. I can just look all over the world on auction sites, not eBay per se, but like online auction, everything from Christie's to Bob's auction in Omaha, and I can just hit, click, buy, ship. Fucking, it's
so fucking easy. Can you imagine, like, back in the day, people used to put cash in an envelope and just fucking send it to the other side of the country and hope that what they're paying for comes back to them. And right now, you can just click submit, just boom, and like it's fucking at your house like within 2 days.
It's so weird, and that's what pisses me off about this casket, man. It's not that easy. It's actually, I'm working for it. I have to find the logistics of one, acquiring it, and then probably having it put on a pallet, transported 18-wheeler from Montana to Louisiana. Then I got to pay somebody to go up 2 flights of stairs to bring it in the studio.
Oh, you bring it in the studio?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be like just collecting it and dealing. I didn't know if it was going to be like a...
No, I want to make it a coffee table, man.
Oh, well, I'm thinking it's cast iron. I'm thinking you can gut it out and make some jambalaya in it. That'd be fucking awesome.
Make a little, make some dead man's jambalaya. I got to redo the interior though.
Yeah, I saw the interior is pretty ratchet, but I guess like when you're going after, I'm going to assume a used casket. I'm going to assume that it's a used children's casket.
No, it's not. It's not.
In my misinformation,
the interior is way too clean for it to have been used. But to that effect, I did call a place that reupholsters, and they couldn't get off the phone fast enough. They were not trying to talk about it. And I was like, look, I just need some purple velvet. I mean, you can't just, it would just bolt. I'll just super glue it in if I get in there. Like, yeah, sir. So no. And I was like, hello. It was like, they go, yeah. So
yeah, I believe that.
I'll call back.
I believe if you're trying to buy a casket, I think you should have to put in just a little bit of work.
I'm going to earn that casket. I'm going to earn that casket.
Yeah. So, I want like the Undertaker entrance song. But anyways, Static and Dust on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Check out the Belazaire and the Frey children. Frey children.
Frey. Yep.
Check out the Met website.
Museum,
I went there.
Yeah. Okay.
I went to the website. I actually looked at it and like, dude, yeah, your name is in the the write up for that painting. And that's one of the best things about having a digital world, and like, you know, you may not be able to go to New York to actually see that painting, but you can go online and actually see it and learn the history of it. Louisiana historian, art dealer, art collector, and soon to be casket owner. So, Jeremy, thanks for hopping on, and I'll talk to you later. Yeah. So,
Sounds good,
Expired
man.
Optimism. Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you.